A simple gesture, and everything changes. In a crowded airport, a little girl sends a secret signal. Only a police dog understands. What seemed like an ordinary morning hides a silent danger, and a story of courage and loyalty is about to unfold. The airport buzzed with the usual morning chaos, suitcases clattering and announcements echoing across the terminal. Families hurried, travelers argued over boarding passes, and the scent of coffee and leather filled the air. Amid it all, a little girl walked calmly, holding a woman's hand. She didn't speak, smile, or glance around. Then, subtly, she tapped her sleeve 3 times, a silent signal unnoticed by anyone except one. That one was Rex, a highly trained police dog. Instantly, his posture stiffened, ears pricked, eyes locked. A low growl rumbled, halting travelers mid-step. Rex lunged toward the girl, dragging his handler slightly. Officer Daniel Reyes, experienced and cautious, grabbed the leash. He trusted Rex beyond any device or human judgment. The intensity of the dog's reaction told him something unusual was happening. As the family moved through the terminal, Daniel observed closely. The children didn't behave like typical siblings at the airport. No laughter, no playful chatter. The smallest girl kept casting quick, deliberate glances toward Rex, as if sending a message only he could understand. Their clothing seemed mismatched for the weather, and they carried only one large suitcase, no backpacks, no personal items. Every detail hinted at something hidden beneath the ordinary morning rush. Rex stayed focused, unwavering, reading every motion, every subtle shift. Daniel felt the familiar tension of anticipation. His instincts told him this was more than routine. A story about to unfold, quiet but extraordinary, and it all started with a single signal from a child in a crowded airport. Then it happened, the moment that changed everything. The smallest girl, with soft brown hair and timid eyes, slowed just enough to fall behind the woman she was with. Nobody noticed, except Rex. The dog's ears perked, muscles tensed, and Daniel felt a chill. The girl's small hand moved behind the woman's back, a subtle signal for help disguised as nothing. To anyone else, it seemed like balance. To Rex, it was urgent. With a sharp bark, he alerted Daniel. The girl didn't react with fear, but her trembling fingers spoke volumes. Daniel moved toward her, weaving through the crowd, eyes locked on hers. Something in her expression told him she needed help. The woman pulled out her phone, distracted, giving the girl another chance to glance back. Their eyes met, conveying fear, hope, and a silent plea. Rex barked again, louder, and the woman's sudden stiffness confirmed Daniel's concern. She didn't want anyone noticing. An unspoken agreement passed between man and dog. They wouldn't let this family out of sight. As Rex surged forward with precision, the crowd shifted aside, sensing something unusual but not understanding. Daniel approached, badge shining, trying to remain calm. The woman smiled nervously, voice quivering. Rex barked again. The girl flinched, the boys froze, and Daniel knew something was very wrong. The woman's composure started to crumble, her grip tightening on her suitcase. Daniel stayed firm and calm, giving instructions while the dog remained focused on the woman, alert to the danger she tried to hide. When she grabbed the little girl's wrist too tightly, Daniel intervened calmly but firmly. The girl moved closer to him, hiding in his shadow, while Rex positioned himself protectively. The woman's confusion and panic were clear, but Daniel stayed steady, ready to ask the questions that might uncover the truth behind the family's behavior. For the boys, she guided them toward the exit walkway. Rex growled softly, a deep sound that made bystanders step back. The boys didn't resist, they simply followed. Daniel stepped forward. "Stop!" The woman froze, chest rising and falling rapidly. Something felt off. Daniel sensed it immediately, instincts alert. This wasn't a horrid mother. It was someone trying to control the children in a way that didn't feel right. He noticed the little girl's oversized pink sneakers, scuffed and dirty, the boy's backpack with a broken zipper, the youngest without a jacket. Their belongings didn't match, and their luggage tags bore different names. Not a family. Rex sniffed carefully, pausing near the girl. She froze, glancing at Daniel, signaling for help. Slowly, she tapped Rex's head, a small, coded gesture. Daniel understood instantly. The girl wasn't just scared, she was asking for help. Rex leaned slightly into her touch, protective. Daniel crouched gently, speaking softly, "You're safe here." The woman tried to intervene, but Daniel's calm authority, combined with Rex's presence, kept the children safe. Emma, the little girl, pressed her forehead to Rex's neck, seeking comfort. The boys stayed close, tense but silent. Daniel confirmed their safety and called for a private screening room, keeping them calm. Observing carefully, he realized this wasn't a simple travel misunderstanding. The children's signals and behaviors revealed they needed protection. With each subtle gesture, each glance, Daniel and Rex provided reassurance, grounding the children and giving them the courage to stay safe while authorities reviewed the situation. Every detail, the mismatched clothing, the hesitant movements, the coded gestures, told the story of a delicate rescue unfolding quietly but urgently. The monitor flickered to life, and everything appeared in place. At Gate D, the woman appeared alone on screen. No children. She checked her phone, scanned the hallway, then moved behind a pillar. The footage then switched to Gate B. A little girl, Emma, arrived holding a small suitcase with an older couple, tourists asking an airport attendant for directions. The woman approached calmly, spoke briefly, and placed her hand on Emma's shoulder as if she belonged to her. The tourists looked confused, but Emma did not resist. She appeared scared and lost. Moments later, the woman walked away with her. Daniel watched the next footage, two boys near a vending machine with a tired-looking man. The woman appeared again, spoke quickly, and guided one boy toward a counter. Daniel felt his blood run cold. 3 children, 3 locations, 3 unrelated adults, all involved. Replaying the footage slowly, he noticed a pattern. Each time the woman approached a child, her expression changed. Not maternal, not concerned, but calculated. In the control room, the children huddled around Rex, the service dog, who positioned himself protectively. Daniel approached with the tablet. "Would you explain this?" The woman stammered. They needed help, but Rex growled, sensing her lie. Daniel calmly but firmly said, "It's over. We know what happened." Emma, trembling, whispered the truth. "She's not my mom." The words hung in the air. One boy added, "She took us away from our dad." Emma explained she had tried to signal Rex for help, as her father had taught her a silent signal that trained dogs can understand. Thanks to this gesture, Rex knew. Police arrived and confirmed it was a scam ring using fake documents to move children between airports. The woman was arrested. The children were secured and reunited with their families, and Emma hugged her grandparents tightly. The story highlighted the quiet courage of a child and the loyalty of a service dog, capable of protecting and saving when words fail. It reminds viewers of the importance of vigilance, child safety, and recognizing even subtle distress signals. The airport gradually returned to its usual rhythm. But for Officer Daniel Reyes, calm was an illusion. He sat in the break room, Rex lying at his feet, ears still twitching at the distant hum of announcements and rolling suitcases. The adrenaline from the morning's events lingered, a low pulse reminding him that the day had barely begun. The children were safe for now, but the implications of what had unfolded were vast. Daniel's mind replayed the silent communication between Emma and Rex. That tap on the sleeve, the subtle, deliberate signal that could have been missed by anyone else, had been a lifeline. He realized that countless hours of training, both his and Rex's, had prepared them for this, but the ingenuity and courage of the child had been the real catalyst. Emma had known exactly what to do, and the bond between human and dog had bridged the gap when adult eyes couldn't see. Back in the secured holding area, the children sat together on a row of chairs, their small bodies huddled under warm blankets. Rex had remained with them, providing a comforting presence that seemed to settle the tension in the room. Emma, still gripping his leash, whispered to him, "Good boy, you did it." The youngest boy, still trembling, peeked over her shoulder and mumbled, "I thought we'd never get away." Their voices were soft, but Daniel heard every word. Outside, investigators swarmed the airport, gathering footage, scanning records, and interviewing witnesses. The sophistication of the scam became apparent quickly. The woman had not acted alone. Surveillance revealed subtle handoffs, code words, and pre-planned movements that ensured the children were moved between unrelated adults in a choreographed sequence designed to confuse anyone watching. Fake IDs, falsified boarding passes, and careful timing had allowed her to operate almost invisibly. But she hadn't counted on Emma's preparation and Rex's instincts. Daniel, reviewing the footage once more, noticed something else, a small detail he had initially overlooked. The woman's phone displayed a pattern of notifications from multiple encrypted messaging apps. She had been coordinating across airports, using a network that likely spanned several cities. This wasn't a one-off attempt. It was part of a wider child trafficking ring. Daniel's stomach turned as he realized the stakes were much higher than a single airport incident. Meanwhile, Emma slowly began to regain her composure. She drew small sketches on a notepad, depicting Rex in heroic poses, the children hiding behind him, and the woman with sharp, angular features looming in the background. It was her way of processing the morning, of reclaiming control over a moment that had made her feel powerless. Daniel knelt beside her, careful to give her space yet offering reassurance. "You did exactly the right thing, Emma," he said gently. "You were brave, and you helped save everyone." She nodded quietly, eyes wide but determined. Hours later, as the investigation deepened, Daniel accompanied Rex through the airport once more. This time, it was a measured patrol, with every officer on alert but nothing immediate to trigger their attention. The children had been relocated to safe custody, and parents were on their way. The airport itself felt different, a tension in the air, a silent recognition that the ordinary hustle of travel could hide extraordinary dangers. Rex sniffed the air, ears twitching. Even without the child's signal, the dog remained vigilant. Daniel reflected on how unique this relationship was, a silent language built on trust, training, and instinct. It was rare for humans and dogs to reach that level of understanding, but when it happened, it could be the difference between life and death. Later that evening, the children were reunited with their families. Emma's father, a tall man with graying hair and gentle eyes, wrapped his arms around her, relief etched into every line of his face. "I'm so proud of you," he whispered, tears streaming. The boys were equally relieved, clinging to their own parents, asking 100 questions in rapid succession about the morning's events. They were safe, finally, but the experience had left its mark. Daniel watched from a distance as Rex received pats and scratches from the children. The dog's tail wagged cautiously, a quiet acknowledgement of the bond that had formed in the chaos. He realized that, while the immediate danger had passed, the story was far from over. The woman's arrest would spark a complex investigation, likely revealing an entire network operating under the radar. Daniel and Rex would be called upon again, perhaps sooner than they hoped. In the following days, Daniel reviewed the details of the case with federal authorities. Patterns emerged. Similar incidents in neighboring states. Children reported missing. False guardianship claims. Emma's quick thinking and Rex's precision had not only prevented a disaster at the airport, but also provided a critical lead for law enforcement. Each small piece of evidence contributed to a larger puzzle, one that could unravel a criminal network spanning multiple cities. Meanwhile, the children underwent interviews with trained psychologists, ensuring their emotional well-being. Emma spoke confidently about the signals she had used, the way Rex had responded, and how she had felt the moment she knew someone was watching out for them. Her calmness astonished the professionals. The boys, though quieter, described the confusion and fear, their trust slowly rebuilding as they recounted how Daniel and Rex had kept them safe. News outlets picked up the story, though details were limited to protect the children. Headlines praised the courage of a small girl and the loyalty of a service dog, but the full extent of the operation remained classified. Daniel, reading the article in his office, shook his head slightly. Public awareness was important, but the true impact, Rex's instincts, Emma's bravery, would never be fully captured in print. Weeks passed. The investigation into the trafficking ring expanded, arrests were made, and the children returned to stable environments. Daniel continued to patrol the airport with Rex, more alert than ever. Every time a child walked past, a subtle signal, a nervous glance, Daniel's mind flickered to the possibility that another story was unfolding, silently, invisibly, in the crowded terminals. And Emma? She carried a quiet confidence, her parents encouraging her courage while shielding her from the lingering shadows of fear. She began training in basic canine communication, fascinated by how a dog had understood her secret signals. Her father watched, a proud smile on his face, knowing that the morning at the airport had shaped a new sense of agency in his daughter, a courage born not from the absence of fear, but from the ability to act in spite of it. Daniel often reflected on that morning. A child's bravery, a dog's instinct, and a man's resolve had intersected perfectly. It was a reminder of the delicate balance between chaos and order, fear and courage, danger and safety. The airport returned to normal, the terminal buzzing once again with travelers unaware of the extraordinary events that had quietly unfolded among them. Yet, in the eyes of those who had lived it, the story lingered, a testament to vigilance, intuition, and the unspoken bonds that can save lives when words are not enough. And somewhere in the shadows, Rex watched, ever vigilant, ready to act the moment a silent signal reached his ears again.